My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram to all. To continue my story, this was in the year 1988. My husband Babu, from his young days, he was very much interested into pujas, rituals. He was very fond of learning about mantras and tantras. While we were in Trichur, he had a classmate who was a priest in one of the biggest temples in Kerala. He has also been the pujari for the famous Shabrimala temples. So my husband would very often go and visit his temple and then sit with him and talk about all these puja vidhis or rituals. And when we were coming to settle down in Puttaparthi, this friend gave him a lot of books about how to do pujas, all the mantras and the actions and the rituals to be done to invoke the gods and the deities. So my husband would pore over these books and he would learn the mantras by heart and try to do all these kinds of pujas. Even though we were not Brahmins, we were actually Kshatriyas. He was very much keen on doing these pujas every day. So when we came and settled down here, we had a small puja room next to our bedroom, and Babu would wake up early in the morning around 2:30. He would take his bath, and then in his wet clothes, like this temple priest, he would sit for the puja. He had many small statues of gods and goddesses, Durga, Lakshmi, Shiva, Ganesha, and also a small silver statue of Swami in our little puja room. And what he would do is he would mix turmeric and kumkum, pure turmeric and kumkum, and it would form a blood red liquid which is called gurdi. This is what is normally poured over the Devis in the temples, symbolic of the blood sacrifice. And this is like a sattvic, the pure kind of puja, not the one where the goats or the animals are sacrificed and the blood is poured over the statue. So this is normally done by a Brahmin priest in most temples all over India. So he would prepare this gurdi and then he would do abhishekam or pouring on the statues one by one. He would do puja to it and he would invoke with the prayers that he had by hearted from those ancient books. This went on every day and it would take him about 2-3 hours to complete his tantric ritual. And then by the time I got up, he would be sitting outside, having his cigarette and his coffee. While this was going on, one day Swami came in my dream. He was sitting and doing the puja while I was sleeping, and Swami came in my dream and he said, "You ask him to stop this because this is not a joke. He invokes the deities and they all come down from their dimensions and from their devalokas, and they sit and receive his worship because he is doing it with a very pure heart, with great concentration. He is also doing it to me, and then what he does is he does not know the incantations to send them back to their worlds after the puja is over. Normally in the temples, the priest would pour the milk, honey, curds, this turmeric water and the kumkum water, and finally they would wash the statue clean, wipe it dry, and then they would decorate it with sweet smelling sandalwood and flowers and the garland, and then they would put the bindi and decorate the statue. This is the actual worship done in all the temples. But they are not left with all this gurdi sticking on their bodies. And you know that turmeric, you leave it long on the body, it burns. So if you have invoked the statue and you have left them all in this burning liquid, sooner or later they are going to curse you, and you are not sending them back to the world from which they have come. Swami said, I will not curse him because I know what he is doing. but these deities are not something that you can fool around with. It has to be done correctly with the right rituals and invocations. So when I woke up, I told my husband, "This is what Swami said. I think you should stop this. You just do worship to Swami." And he said, "No, no, no, no. I get great joy doing this, and I feel that the gods and goddesses are coming and accepting my worship." What happened was, he continued this, and a few weeks later, he started acting very bizarre. He wasn't talking, his face had changed, and he was very silent. One day I had gone for darshan with my little daughter. She was about 1.5 years old at this time, and my son was in Swami's primary school. So when I came home, it was complete catastrophe at home. All the things were thrown around. My mother-in-law was outside the house near our neighbor's house. She was cowering in fear, and there was broken glass. All the photos had been smashed. So when I saw her, I asked what happened. She said, "You won't believe, Jayshree, what happened. This fellow has gone completely crazy. He took some camphor and tried to burn it on top of my head. He wanted to set fire to that, and I ran for my life, and I have been sitting in this neighbor's house waiting for you to come back." She said, "This fellow definitely needs to be taken to a mental asylum. He's not normal. Something really crazy has happened to him." So I walked into the house, and he was standing there doing all kinds of breaking. And you won't believe, he took my little girl's hand and he made her walk on the floor where all these glass pieces were strewn all over the place. So I came out, I took my daughter, and I thought I better go and go to the Swami's General Hospital. I had a friend of mine who was one of my junior's mother, Dr. Vansa. She was very close to me and was very fond of my daughter. So I went up to her and I told her, "This is what has happened, doctor. I don't know what to do." So she said, "I will ask one of the psychiatrists here to give some medicine to calm him down." So she went and got the name of the medicine, Lagatril, so which I got some on my way back, and I told my mother-in-law about it. So without anybody seeing it, she powdered it and put it into his black coffee, and she started giving him that every day. So in a few days' time, he sort of calmed down, but he was still very aggressive and violent. So my mother-in-law got very scared, and she said, "I don't know, he's going to kill us one of these days in his rage." She called her sons and asked them to come, and then they would decide where he is to be taken for his treatment. What happened was, in the meantime, I knew one Mrs. Dhairyam. She was the wife of a very famous psychiatrist in Madras, and I think they had their own hospital there. Her daughter also studied in Anandapur College. So this auntie used to sit next to me, and we used to very often talk. So I went up to her room inside the ashram and I told her, "Auntie, this is what is happening. I don't know what to do." So she said, "Don't worry, Jayshree. If you need, please come to Madras. You can stay in my house and I will get your husband treated in our hospital. It's not a problem at all," she said. So I had one solution, what to do with him. Then my brother-in-laws all turned up and his sister also came, and they had a family meeting, and then they told me, "Either you take him to Madras to your friend, or you take him to Nimans in Bangalore, which is the mental asylum, which is also closer to us, Bangalore. We will get him admitted there, and then we will take our mother and go. You decide what you must do." So this was the options given to me, and they said, "Tomorrow morning when you go for darshan, you ask Swami, and we will act accordingly." So that day morning, I took my daughter Prasanna, and I asked Mataji to sit in the front row, and I was sitting there. When Swami came near me, I was supposed to ask him, "Swami, should I take him to Bangalore or should I take him to Chennai? All that came out of my mouth was, Swami, I love you, Swami, I love you. And I started to cry. Swami just looked down at me and he said, don't go anywhere. He will become all right slowly. You stay here. I will take care of you. Don't go. Don't take him anywhere, he said. And Swami walked away. So I got my answer. When I went home and I told them that Swami said this, they were all very annoyed and they said, you do what you want. Maybe it is your destiny to die at your husband's hands. But we are leaving and we are taking our mother with us. So the next day they all left. I was left in this house with my husband, with my crazy husband and my little girl. In the meantime, when I met my son, I told him what was happening and he said, okay ma, I will tell Swami. So when they came for darshan, my son told Swami, father is not well, Swami. And Swami said, yes, I know, don't worry. Father coming and going, he said. I don't know what that meant. And then Swami went inside and got a few packets of vibhuti and gave it to him. And he said, give this to your mother. So after darshan, my son came and gave me those packets of vibhuti. And slowly I started giving him the vibhuti and stopped the medication, and slowly he became normal. Of course, the pujas had all stopped by this time. And I took leave for about a month because I could not leave my small child alone with him. I wasn't confident that he would really take care of her. Then in a little while he told me that he had some kind of an awakening where he could hear the talk or the voices of all the animals and insects and everything. And it said the sound was so constant in his ears that maybe that is what made him so crazy, he said. But he said it is all reducing now. I'm getting better. Very soon I will be able to take care of our little girl and then you can go back to the bank. This is how Swami took care of a very, I don't know what is the name to say, a terrible incident in our life. There is nothing that Bhagavan does not know, and He is always there to protect us. Thank you for listening to my videos and supporting me. I hope you enjoy hearing these stories as much as I enjoy recollecting my moments with our beloved Lord. Om Shri Sai Ram.